everyone. Welcome to Chief Chat. With us are Chief David Brogan and Chief Lee Gavin. And I understand that the both of you were doing some running earlier. So instead of people running from you, you were running on a 5K for Heroes on Hines. So talk to us about that. That sounds amazing. And you got your exercise over the weekend. We were talking about health and staying healthy just a few minutes ago, so you both got your exercise.
Yeah, we had fun. Actually, Chief Gavin and I do several 5Ks every year. We run together. I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 every year. But this is one that I think this might have been the first one we did a couple years ago, and it's a good one because it's for all the first responders in the area. And what is that? Hines Drive, is it Merriman? Hines Drive
Hagerty.
and Hagerty, I'm sorry, where they have a big monument built for first responders that have died. And so this is a 5K that gets all the first responders in the area. I didn't hear what the team results were. Dearborn Heights Fire won it maybe 3 years ago. Not this year, not this year. But when we had a lot of our younger guys, most of the guys that run were out of town for this one, so we only had, actually I think it was just Chief Gavin and myself. The numbers seem to be down this year. The rain kept some people away. But we still had a good time, and it's for a good cause. It helps to maintain. It goes to the Wayne County Parks to maintain that monument.
Yes, out on Hines and Hagerty, there's a monument out there for first offenders, first responders, first responders.
We know where your mind is right now.
Through Wayne County, and it's got a wall out there with all the names of
those that
first
fallen.
responders that have died in line of duty and that. So.
Okay.
That's run by Wayne County Parks. So they have a fundraiser, a run out there, and there was a decent amount. The weather was a little rainy this past weekend, so not as many people showed up. But me and Chief Brogan, we ran together, so nobody would show the other person up. I think at the end.
Wait a minute. Somebody got in first.
I beat him by a few seconds.
Few seconds. Okay.
If we come in together, it doesn't pick up both of us, so. He let me go, a little in front of him, so I come up a few seconds faster. Yes.
Well, that's good. So you were able to raise some funds for the monument maintenance,
yes.
basically. Well, that's really a wonderful cause, and you always involved in stuff like that. The fire department, which is really an exciting thing that's happening. You got a federal grant, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yes, so we want to talk about that, and that's for smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors, and info for safety issues, right?
Yeah,
and that was the federal grant.
That was the federal grant. It was part of the AFG it's called Assistance to Firefighters Grant is a federal grant, and there are different aspects of that.
And that's what I was trying to remember.
Yeah, this was the fire prevention aspect of the AFG.
Okay.
And in the past, we've gotten there's a vehicle AFG, equipment AFG, and even the SAFER grant, which is for personnel. And we've been awarded all those at various times, but we've never gotten the fire prevention grant before.
Okay.
So we got it this time.
Great.
And what the grant is going for is for the fire department to target specific areas. There are certain criteria that need to be met. And then we're going to do an outreach where we'll go into homes and we'll do fire education. We'll install smoke detectors if they're needed, install carbon monoxide detectors, and even fire extinguishers. And we'll show the homeowners some videos, give them some literature, and like I said, we're doing it. You can sign up for as a resident. It's something that we're going out, and then we're going door to door and hitting certain areas.
So you actually go into the home and you
That's
basically
correct.
give them instruction on fire safety and carbon monoxide safety.
Right.
So what about the actual equipment? I mean, is that or the actual items for the fire detector, carbon monoxide detector?
Right. So,
are those things that you provide, or are those
yep,
just learning
we'll provide them, and we'll only get the ones that will last for 10 years. There are many different smoke detectors they have now, and we're getting the ones that have a 10-year battery, and so that's the whole life of the smoke detector. So when we go out to a home, it should be when we leave a home that we've gone out to, they should be adequately protected according to NFPA standards, which is 1 smoke detector in every bedroom and 1 on each floor of the house, in addition to the bedrooms. and then a carbon monoxide detector and a fire extinguisher, and we'll find out the best location for that as we're there, usually somewhere near the kitchen. So that's where they have a lot of fires where you need an extinguisher.
And you said people can't actually sign up for this, so it's more like for at-risk areas maybe, or
That's
how
right.
do you
Well,
focus
we're
on-
looking in some low-income areas and some areas where we've had a fire, or especially if we've had a couple different fires in a certain location. And so our fire marshal is working closely with our deputy chief, the deputy chief will be in charge of the manpower to getting in there, and the fire marshal helps select what areas that we're going to cover. And so low income, if we have seniors in the area, and if there's been a fire in the area. Those are kind of the criteria.
So if people are more apt to be susceptible to fire hazards, and so it's not really an economical kind of thing, it's more of a statistical who's more
Right. And statistically, though, some of the more depressed economic areas do have more fires, and so that is some of the areas that we go and reach out into. But we have a map on we have a computer map that kind of will light up in red where we have certain areas that are more of a problem than others in relation to fires.
Okay.
And so, yep, we're going to hit all those areas and try to make every individual home as safe as possible. A lot of times, people who are watching this program might be a little more active in the community and getting out and doing things. I mean, not everyone, but there are some people that aren't as aware of what things the city might offer them in the means of safety. That's why we're going door to door, and we're trying to reach out to people that might otherwise not be as engaged with the community and maybe keep to themselves more and need that assistance, and so we can reach out and hopefully make them safer.
And also, you have a new LED sign too.
And then part of that,
is that through this
Yep,
federal
that's part of the
grant?
same grant. Is we're getting a new LED sign that's going to be in front of fire headquarters, and that's going to we'll be able to get messages out to the public as far as like when it's time to change your smoke detector and different fire safety messages, and then even things like when our open house is scheduled, or different fire department events, and what kind of run volume we've been having, all that kind of information. Just another means of us interacting with the public as far as a fire safety message.
Wonderful.
That's good, Chief. It's about time. We've had ours for 13 years. So we're glad.
Ours will be
Fire
full
department's
color.
catching up.
I've seen your guys'
Okay.
red sign. That's dope.
Oh, that's great. I just want to ask you one more question before
Sure.
we get to the chief. The chili cook-off.
Yeah.
I didn't win.
Unfortunately,
go?
no.
Was it-
no. Yeah, it was good. We had a good
Good.
time, but again, weather played a factor. We had rain. I think this is the first year in over almost 25 years. I think this is the 24th year where we've had significant rain, where it really affected things. So. We were a little bit down. We still raised, I think, $8,000. Our goal is
Good.
10. We usually get to 10. So we were a little bit down, but all in all, everyone still had a really good time. The chili was really good. I know at one point, everyone was out playing in the mud in the rain, and there were a couple
Making
guys
the
dancing
best
with
of
each
it.
other, sliding through the mud. So, yeah, they still had a fun time.
No, that's good. Who won the moped? Is it called a moped?
No, it's the four-wheeler, the
Four-wheeler.
ATV. And I don't remember I know our fire marshal, Doug Bailey, sold the ticket, but I can't remember who the name of the person that won it. But yeah, they were really excited.
No, well, that's good. That's good. I was thinking, I'm going to get a call. I'm going to win this. I'm going to win this. Chief, Dearborn Heights, in terms of happening, our crime statistics and the break-ins and things like that. What kind of update can you give us with that? Because I know that there's been a lot of information, given to our residents about making sure your doors are locked, your garage doors closed, and things like that. Have we gotten better at that? And what are we looking at?
We've
in terms
gotten
of
better,
Dearborn
but we
Heights?
still have, I don't want to say substantial amount, but we're still getting some B&Es of homes, very few of those, but the big things are still the larcenies of the vehicles. So people park their cars, let it be in the street or even in their driveway, they're not locking the doors. And subjects can walk down the street, pull the door handles, get into the cars, losing keys, computers, cell phone, anything that you leave in the car. We've had a few where they've even taken cars out of the driveway, put them up on landscaping bricks, and then steal the tires and the rims off the cars. So we've had some of that in the north end. The big thing is lock your doors. Even though you think you're safe in your driveway, you're not. Still lock the doors.
You know, my parents, they close their garage door, but they sort of close it halfway, especially, you know, when it's warmer, just to keep. And just a few days ago, they had a whole, you know, like 4 or 5 boxes of water. And somebody actually crawled in and stole their water bottles. So do you see that there's more like amateurish crimes maybe in and around the city?
You know,
more
if
so than
there's a
before?
will, there's a way.
Sure.
It's usually an opportunity crime. If the garage is open, partial way, someone can slide in, they're going to do it. They're lucky they just lost, you know, their water containers. But a lot of people on the inside of the garage leading to the house, they don't lock that door.
Right.
And then someone can slide in, get into that door, and, you know, take what they want. So it's important to lock our house doors, our vehicle doors, and that prevents a lot of theft.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've had a major crime committed in Dearborn Heights, and I'm sure, you know, all our viewers are very familiar with the mass murder that we just experienced. And the chief and I were talking off camera that really this is something very new to Dearborn Heights. You know, we couldn't figure out something similar to this in many years. What is your take on that, and how does that impact us as a community in Dearborn Heights?
Yeah. You know what, in my 36 years with the city, that's the most horrific crime that I've experienced. And even going back before that, nobody can really remember a situation with that many people killed, especially being family members. So it was indeed very tragic. You know, our community gathered around, and, you know, a couple of young children went to local school, I believe St. Sebastian's in the South End. And so I just want to again tell our community, thank you for reaching out to us. You know, we received some items at the police station. We call them care packages, some cards from community, from our residents, saying that, you know, they know some of our officers have been through a lot, and, you know, supporting us. Received a lot of email from our community and phone calls, you know, just people reaching out, thanking us. Yes, that is our job as a first responder, us and the fire. But it's situations like that that take a toll, and
Sure.
it can be an everlasting toll on some of these younger officers that go in there, and maybe this is their first crime scene that they've experienced. And you know, 4 people were killed in there, and so that makes it a, you know, horrific scene. And the officers go in, the firemen go in with the intent to try to, you know, save some lives, do what they can. And yeah, very drastic, and you know, sad.
Absolutely.
So as a department, along with the fire department, you know, we received a lot of calls. I received calls from the state police offering their behavioral services unit, City of Detroit. We have a department psychologist. He reached out to us. So we get a lot of support from the you know, psychological community, the doctors willing to help us. So we have a policy in place. We check with our officers and discuss it with them and see if they need additional counseling. You know what, maybe it's not just that day. Maybe it's a month down the line when they're still getting some effects or some afterthought. So we provide that service to them. We work with them. Fire department does the same. So we reach out to the officers and make sure.
I know that your departments have gotten the utmost praise in the way that you've handled this, and it's such a positive way in regards to the police officers and the fire department, and even the support of the family after this happened. So definitely kudos to our police department and fire department in Dearborn Heights. But and you touched on this, but we never think, you know, as residents, as a community, how this affects the first responders, for people that come in, the fire department, the police department, you know, the people who've been on the force for even a few years and have never really seen something this dramatic. You know, we were talking earlier, I mean, you actually see, you know, the blood, you see the bodies, and this is something that stays with you forever, and especially for police officers and firemen, because they're in this to help the community and to help people, so I'm sure that this affects them extraordinarily. So, you know, we don't really think about that. That's not our, you know, our first sense of thought when a heinous crime like this happens. You think about the victims, you think about the family. But this is such another major aspect of anything like this happening. So I know that you said in regards to, you know, psychological help and emotional help, but how does that impact what you see on a daily basis with the guys that, because I know you had gone on the scene afterwards to see, you know, what happened with the firemen that responded. What do you see on a daily basis from these individuals? I mean, how does that impact what you do daily?
Yeah. Well, on our end, you know, as first responder, everyone thinks that the police officers are the, you know, that big, mean, tough guy or gal that goes in there. And when they respond,
They're
yes, they
human.
are. They're human. They go in. We have a job to do.
Right.
Our job is to, you know, protect the people, get the injured to the hospital, work with the fire department. So they go in and they're professional, do their job. But like you say, afterwards, maybe the next night or a week later, you're sitting at home. Those memories
Delayed
just don't
reaction,
leave.
sure.
They stick with you, and that's why we make sure with post-traumatic stress, you know, if the officers have an issue, we stay open with the officers. We talk to them. The shift bosses talk. If they see a change in their performance or something, we'll address the issue with them. We'll send them to a counseling, to a psychologist if we think there's a need for it. And we're all just human. So the human mind, you know, can only take so much. And I mean, I think all of us, I'm sure Chief Brogan has gone into many scenes over the years that he remembered. I have a lot of situations that, you know, they never leave your mind. They're there. You think about them when you're a younger officer and what you did to cope with them. But it's just, yeah, it's very tough on the individual officers. But again, our officers are very professional. Again, I want to commend them for everyone that was at the scene. The officers, the detectives, everyone did a very thorough job. And now we'll turn the case over to the prosecutor's office and, you know, let them go forward with it. But as a department, you know, it brings everyone together. And I'm sure it's that way with the fire department. Everyone's concerned for the other officers, make sure everyone's okay. And what they experienced, you know, they can overcome. And like I said, it'll always be there, but as long as you can control your thoughts and all that.
What about with you and the fire
Well,
department?
for the fire department, we actually have a critical incident stress management. We have a team that has specific training for these kinds of things, and so there have been studies that have found after an event like this, if you there's a debriefing and a diffusing. A diffusing, if that can happen within the first 8 hours or so of the event, that really helps people from. You're still going to go through this range of emotions, but just to educate, the diffusing is kind of about when this event happens. Almost all the time, very rarely will the police officer or firefighter not be able to perform, break down on the scene. Usually, they're performing, their training kicks in. There's adrenaline, so that kind of pushes you through the moment, and you don't even realize that you're being affected by it a lot of times. But then that adrenaline wears off, you get back to the station, you start thinking about things, and you'll start to have memories. Every single person involved in that, and I can tell you the chief and myself, calls that we have that are similar to that, we have little snapshots of that could still pop in your head at a random time. So there's, every human being, you're going to have a reaction to that. And so it's normal to have these reactions. You're a normal person reacting to an abnormal scenario that you're in. And so that has to be expected. And so we just meet with the firefighters to tell them these are some of the emotions that you can expect to be going through. The next morning when those guys woke up, that was the first thing on their heads. Almost, you can guarantee you that. They wake up, they start going around, oh yeah, that happened. And then it kind of hangs with you. It's going to be on your head. You're going to live with it for about a week. And then you got to kind of, you know, because your brain is processing it, because it's hard to just accept that happened. And so especially something as awful as this. So your body kind of has to accept it. It's not a time to be drinking. That's how it kind of used to be, the old school
Right.
way of doing it. Oh, go to the bar, you'll be all right. You can't drink something like that away. That actually slows the progression of your brain dealing with this, because it has to kind of process it. And so working out, being around the guys, that's all very good. And getting back to work and going on calls and realizing, that you can be a little gun shy after something like that happened.
Sure.
You realize, well, that was an unusual event, and it's back to business as usual. And there are so many different ways that the stress can creep up on you. Sometimes it's, we talk about the younger guy where it's kind of all a shock to him, but even an older experienced person, that's going to be tough. And sometimes it's a cumulative effect of all of these different things. And as you get older, you have more life experiences. You have kids of your own. You never know how it's going to hit you or when it's going to react. And so it's good to have that diffusing right away. And then after about a week or two, if you're still having some of these signs and symptoms that we go over with the guys, then they know maybe it's time to go talk to someone else and have a more serious debriefing, or even go for some one-on-one counseling. And so we're very aggressive with the treatment of that.
Have in either department, has there been a situation where maybe an officer or a fireman had to be removed from a situation because the emotional aspect was
Over the
too
course
high?
of the years, I remember a few situations, yeah. Especially when we had our police officer killed over 10
Right.
years ago.
Officer
Very
Murkowski.
traumatic, and yeah, Corporal Mikowski. So, a lot of people needed, counseling, therapy, and time off. But there are situations.
Do they basically return, or is this something that is?
They return. We work with the psychologist as to a date. Some people need a little bit more time off to recuperate than others. But still, in this present day, you might get an incident with a young baby on a drowning or something, and it affects everyone different.
Sure.
And we work with the officers. If they need some time off away from work, we grant that. We work with them. There's just so many situations you come into out there that, not the normal people don't experience. In the course of a life, we might experience them twice, 3 times in a day.
Right,
So,
right.
it just-
And I think it's so important to make people cognizant of that, because people don't realize that you are the first responders and you see the worst of the worst every day. So as human beings, as people with emotions, you're not out there just doing your job. You're out there doing your job as a human being with the same senses that we would have in seeing something horrific. So there's definitely a recovery period for that. So
like they bring up, if you go back to 9/11 in New York or other situations,
Sure.
everybody's running away, and
Absolutely.
first responders again are running to the scene and running in to help while everyone else is running away.
Yeah, and it's kind of good that it shows, like, an event like this, it not only it just doesn't affect that family. It affected us, but it also affected the schools, everyone who's involved. It's like the ripple effect of the horrific act that he did, and how it affects the entire community. And it's
Neighbors,
just-
you
yeah,
see-
yeah, right.
Your neighbors, you see them every day, every couple days, and here,
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm removed from that. I didn't know them, which I feel like is such a blessing for me. But yet it was on my mind continuously, and just the thought
Right.
of that horrific act. So being on the scene and seeing those things is really something that takes
It just
time
shows
to get.
in society today, you never know what to expect.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Expect the unexpected on a daily basis.
And
now.
that's
Yep.
Expect the unexpected. That's our quote for the day. Really quick on a different note, and I only know we have just a couple more minutes. Make a Difference Day collection box drive. So we are spearheading that, the Dearborn Heights firefighters, and that is for the
It's for
veterans.
for
So tell us
veterans.
a
So,
little
so
bit
a
about
lot.
that real
It's
quick.
for homeless veterans. They need toiletries. They need things to and anything that you could think that a homeless veteran might need. And again, we're talking about our veterans, people that I hate to think homeless veteran. That's a horrible
Right.
two words to
It
to
is.
put those words together. And talk about critical incident stress. A lot of these people, sometimes that could lead to why they are homeless. That could have led to substance abuse. That could have led to problems. And so we want to do everything that in our power to help take care of our veterans. And so I think everyone agrees with that. And so if you have anything around the house, or like to go out and get something and help the veterans in any way, the schools have collection points. Also, the Camfield Center is a collection point. And then the fire department's going to go round up all of our boxes and then take it downtown and drop it off for the...
to the Detroit Veterans Center.
That's correct.
That's
Yep,
wonderful.
for Make a
And
Difference
you have
Day.
anything from toothbrushes to shampoo to shaving cream, liquid soap, Effordent, denture brushes, denture
That's right.
cups, lipstick, and nail polish, deodorant, makeup bags. I love it.
Yeah, the face of
mouthwash.
veterans has changed, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yep, because now there's women out there certainly as much as the men that need the help. And there's also things like if they were crossroad, there's anything you could think of that a veteran might want. So.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So hopefully our viewers out there will put something together and drop it off to the Canfield Center or the Young Center or local schools in the City Hall.
Yep, that'd be great.
Great. Dates. October 3rd through the 17th
yeah.
is when this drive is going to happen, and Bob's out there going, say the date, say the date. So thank you,
That's
Bob.
right, yep.
So between October 3rd through October 17th, you can take these items to the places that we mentioned, and we hope that our community will participate with this. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you for your service. Thank you for what you do, and I know that you've got a lot on your hands, and especially these last couple of months. So just keep doing the wonderful job that you're both doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us on Chief Chat, and we will definitely see you next time.